Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the IS-4. It's a tier 10 Soviet heavy tank. It's located on the northeast spawn of Karelia, and this one is under the command of Jamie2006. Now this tank was otherwise known as the Object 701 and was a derived design from the IS-2, designed to be better than the IS-3. You can see many of the design clues of the IS-2 in it. The hull does look like an IS-2 and the turret is kind of flattened. Yep. Armed with a 122mm gun, it's capable of doing 440 alpha and penetrates 258mm of armor with standard AP. And with the heat rounds, it'll do 340mm of pen. It's actually got the same gun as the ST1, the D25-2. Now its standard reload is 11.05, I think that is, seconds. 11.03 actually. But you can see Jamie's got it down to 9.28, and yep, he's blocking shots from the enemy. It's got a very good armor profile. It's a large health pool as well, 2,500 hit points. And it's a fairly low profile tank as well compared to some of the others. It's got a good top speed, even though it's a very heavy tank. It's 66 tons all up weight. And he's bouncing rounds coming from the enemy and firing back. Oh, he is taking some damage. I think the enemy are, yeah, they're getting some pens. There are some weak spots, I'm afraid, on this tank. Okay, it is a bit sluggish on the acceleration, as you saw, but it's okay on mobility. The frontal armor does have weak spots. You can see the enemy are getting some damage on us. It looks like some of the enemy shots are right on the weak spots. It also lacks a certain amount of DPM because that's long reload. And of course the gun depression is not that good for a Soviet tank. It's only 6 degrees. Jagdtiger. Well, he got him in the track, but he hasn't actually done any damage to any enemies as far as we know at the moment. But he has blocked 4,300 hit points, and he's continued to block shots from the enemy. Now, the IS-4 was one of the first Soviet tanks that actually had some equipment added to it, which was based on German designs. The Soviets captured German equipment on some of the improved tanks that they saw, Tiger IIs and the like, and yep, incorporated them into the IS-4 design. Now they only built 250 of these, and it was actually, they started working during the war in 1943, I think it was, and they finally completed the design in 1944 and started building in 1947 to 1949. He's finally getting some damage on the enemy now. Most of the tanks actually went out to the far east and were actually put on the border against China. Of course, they had all the IS-3s for the NATO border. Okay, well, he's decided to move up, use those dead wrecks for armor, protect himself against that Kunstpanzer. Number of enemy tanks on the horseshoe. Oh, the IS-32's gone. Can he get a nice shot in the lower plate? Yes, he does. Low roll, though. He's got to watch out for that Kunstpanzer, though, because that guy could just pop out and put a round into him. Ouch. Yes, he did. Well, the E75's decided to come up the other side, so he might protect us to a certain extent. And another round into the Kunstpanzer. This time it's a high roll. Go for it. And, well, the Kunstpanzer managed to get another round into us. And unfortunately, our Leopard prototype's gone. And now the E75's gone, taken out by the E100. So we're going to have to watch out for that Kunstpanzer ourselves now. And that's why Jamie's got suddenly so twitchy. He's looking around trying to work out who's going to come at him first. Well, the E100 looks like he wants the next shell. Okay, TVP looks like he's lining up a shot. He's very low on hit points, that TVP. Doesn't get the shot through the turret. And here comes the E100 trying to exploit the reload time. Not going to work out so well for him though, because all we're going to do is this. And we pump round one into the lower plate for a high roll. And we're bouncing rounds coming from that TVP. 960 and kill the Wizzy 120. Now, can we kill the E100? That'll be our third kill. No, the third kill is going to be the Kunstpanzer. About time to now kill the E100. Wait for it. Oh, well, we didn't kill him. The Heshbon did. But that means now there's only 3 enemy tanks left. The TVP, the Striv, and the AMX 1390. Where's that TVP? There he is. Oh, and he's gone. The kill goes to the Type 61 in the end. So 3 kills. Not the lead scorer so far because the STB1 managed to get 4. But there's still 2 enemies left. The AMX 1390 and the Striv 103B. The Striv's going to be the problem though, because we're now down to just 325 hit points and he could take us out with 1 accurate shot. And there's the AMX 1390 trying to make an escape. Line him up. And we lost out on the kill because the Centurion was a split second faster than we were. And he got the kill shot. So still only 3 kills. But a large number of our team have got 1 kill apiece. So looks like most of the team were fairly good players. Can't see the Striv 103B. Might want to go down onto the lower level and try and get to him or drive over there. He's using the height of the horseshoe to spot the enemy Striv. Line him up on the mini map. There you go. Just trying to work out. Oh, he hit him! Even lining him up on the mini map, he managed to get a hit. At long range, but it's only a critical hit. He didn't actually do any damage. And it looks like the tanks over by the cap are duking it out with the Striv. Where is he? There he is. Somewhere off in that distance. He's outside draw range. We're not going to get a sign of him. Somewhere over in that direction. And there's the kill shot coming from the Heshbon. Takes out the Striv, and that's the end of the first game. Here's the end of battle results, and that was the first ace tanker for Jamie2006 in the IS-4. He managed to get a fire for effect for doing more damage than the hit points to his own vehicle. He got shell proof as well for blocking more damage than the hit points to his own vehicle, as well as a duelist for taking down 2 tanks who damaged him, and a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 8 in this one. He also managed to get a steel wall, unsurprisingly, for blocking the most damage in the game. It just seems like everybody on the enemy team wanted to hit him, as well as a Confederate for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team. And his win rate from that battle was 8,058, which is Super Unicum standard and quite a bit more. So let's have a look at the team score and see where he was. Well, actual fact, he managed to get the highest damage in the game with that shot, because 5,313 was how many hit points that he managed to get. So 5,283 was the second highest damage, the Object 277. And the third highest damage in the game actually went to the Kunstpanzer. Yeah, that little annoying panzer that kept on popping out and taking shots. Yes, he did pick up an awful lot of damage on our team. 5,151 went to him. When it came to kills, the SDB1 did better than we did. 4 kills went to him, 3 kills went to Jamie, and 2 kills went to the Heshbon, and also to the Striv103B and the Wizzy120 on the enemy team. When it came to base XP, Jamie did the best with 1,254. Second highest damage was 971 for the Object 277, and 915 went to the ST1. He fired 25 rounds of ammunition in that game, got 22 direct hits on the enemy and 14 penetrations. I think some of the shots where he missed, it was the blind fires that he was firing down range. Because, of course, unless you actually know specifically where the enemy was, whereas at the end of the game with Striv103B, he did know some of the time where the enemy was. But again, he was firing rounds blind at that guy, and a few of them did miss. But he did fire 22 rounds which actually hit the target, and only 14 of those actually penned, and that's because at tier 10, the armor on tier 10 tanks tends to be a little more difficult to penetrate. 5,313 hit points of damage, with 428 of that being at more than 300 meters, and 33 hits received from the enemy, 7 penetrations and 26 non-penetrations, so a lot of non-pens. 8,140 hit points of damage blocked by armor. He spotted 3 enemy vehicles, damaged 9 of the enemy, killed 3 of them, and did 852 hit points of damage assistance. He earned 81,737 credits from the game, and after repair, ammunition resupply and consumables, he actually made a loss. Unfortunately, it was 44,862 credits to loss. But he did pick up 7 bonds, and he also got 1,881 XP, times 4 for the first victory of the day, 3,762 experience points for mission completion, and 11,286 experience points altogether. So the IS-4, as I said, it's a bit like an IS-2, but slightly upgraded. And well, here you go. This is the collision model. It's slightly easier to see where the weak spots are with the live version rather than the collision. You can see that the armor on the front, 155mm impacted armor, but it goes up to 237 with the angling. Lure plate 180 goes up to 249. Now, really, you don't really want to be hitting the turret on one of these when you're face on, because it's incredibly difficult to get through those figures. If you look at them, you can see either going to bounce off, or you're going to be hitting so much armor that you just couldn't possibly penetrate. Even the area around the driver, this area is actually, as you can see here, is slightly angled up at the front, and then it slopes back at the behind it. So the driver's got a bit of added protection from this bump, this speed bump you might say, right on the front plate. Now the weakness actually, and this is where it does have weak spots at the front, is actually in those cheeks area. And this is what I was saying, that the enemy were getting rounds into his cheeks, and you can see here that the cheeks are only 160mm, and with the angling back it comes out at 242. So any of the enemy tanks, when they were trying to pen him, that's where they were going for, those cheeks area, because he was actually angling his vehicle like that and making it fairly easy for them to get shots in there. But of course they were still getting pens with AP, but some of them were using premium rounds as well to try and pen him. But you can't really pen the front of the tank if he's angling like that, and it's fairly difficult to pen the rear of the tank as well, because the rounds will literally bounce off. So you can see from the front, this tank is very, very difficult to pen, because if you hit the cheeks here, they bounce off altogether, but if you hit them here, they will dig in, but it's a lot of armor that they've got to get through. Okay, if we go to the collision model just momentarily, you can see that the sides of the tank are actually fairly heavy, 160mm, even the size of the turret, 200mm, effective 224. It's very difficult to pen this tank. In fact, the weakest armor you're likely to get is this area over the transmission, where it's only 100mm thick, but it's coming out about 112. The engine cover area, that's 120, coming out at 141, and the rear of the turret's 170, coming out at 197. So the one thing you can say about the IS-4 is it does have fairly thick armor all the way around. So that's the actual armor on the tank. Let's have a look at the modules. Okay, well the modules, you can see the driver's sitting in the front, he's got the speed bump in front of him protecting him, and there's his viewports. There's also these kind of anomoraks in the cheeks. Now that actually makes this a vulnerability if this tank is angled. As you can see here, if I put it that way, you can see even better, because there is the ammo rack and it's directly behind the cheek. So if somebody is aiming for the cheek because the tank driver has angled the IS-4, they might actually be able to pen that ammo rack. It's towards the rear of the cheek, but it's still easy enough to pen. You're not going to get through the frontal armour either on the turret or, well, very doubtful you'll get it through on the front of the vehicle anyway, but you might be able to get the cheeks. In the turret, we're looking at a gunner on the right-hand side with the tank commander directly behind him and the radio there. And the loader is actually on the left-hand side of the turret, and he's got ammo racks all around him. In fact, those are the ready racks for the gun. And you can see there's another big ammo rack, or biggish, small long-term store actually is deep down inside the tank. At the back, it's the standard configuration engine sandwiched by two fuel tanks with the transmission sticking out the back. But as you saw in that the armor thickness, you can see the transmission's got its own little area here, bit of armor, so it kind of steps down from the engine. So you know where the engine area is, and if you can pen through the sides, you're likely to get the engine, and if you pen between the tracks, you would actually get the fuel tanks. So that's where all the modules are on the IS-4. So this is a 2 replay video. Jamie did play the IS-4 once again, and the second replay is about that experience. So let's go straight to it. And here's the second replay on the north spawn of Erlenberg. Well, you may have seen from our website that I've actually been having a bit of difficulty with the recordings. For some reason, the settings all changed when I did the update for World of Tanks, and I've had to go in and change them all around again. Well, looks like Jamie2006 is going to go into the town and try and attack the enemy there. He did have the company of a Skoda T56 for the moment, but he's letting Jamie go ahead because, of course, Jamie's got better armour. And, of course, the Skoda is a Tier 8, and Jamie's going to be coming up against Tier 10 opponents. Well, the first target he sees is a T110E4 crossing the field. First round goes home, and he gets a high roll, 476. T110 stops. He's actually been tracked. Second round goes in, and it's another low roll this time, 435. T110 did fire in this direction, and just after he fires a low roll in, he gets killed by the IS-3AL, who's nearby. Okay, well, we've got some other targets just across the river. It's a Viz-55. Hello. One round goes into him, and it's a high roll, and we bounced the round that came back from him. And there's an E-75 across the river as well as an A Phase 1, but we might be able to shoot the E-75 through the windows with a bit of luck. Where is he? There he is. Yep, nice shot. High roll. And there's another E-75, and that guy's firing the 128mm gun. 530 Alpha. Okay, there's the Viz-55 again. Well, he quickly moves to cover his lower plate, but he does take a round through the side. And it's a low roll for 412. E-75 knows somebody's looking at him. He pulls back quickly. No, he's not going to come out. He doesn't want to come out and play. There's an IS-3AL up in the distance. I think he's up on top of the hill. We're not going to get any shots on him. Not from here. But there is another tank nearby. It's an IS-7. Just noticed him. And he's just across the river on the water side. So Jamie can probably get a shot on him. In fact, he's got his rear to us. First shell goes in through the engine bay. Gets a low roll 426. He's going to try it again. He just blocked a shot from that UDES again. The one that fired at him earlier. And he gets another hit for 430, another low roll. I wouldn't try the second time. The third time rather. That IS-7's looking to shoot him. Ouch. Yeah, that didn't work. The IS-7 got one back for 524. Can he get a shot across the river? It appears the E-75s have gone into cover again. Ouch. Now we just lost our Rebel Arise. He was behind us, covering our rear. Of course, Jingles calls the Rebel Arise ravioli, and in actual fact some people did call it the ravioli. He's having a quick look. This E-75, at least it's one of them. Always found one of those new ones. The new Czech tank destroyer, the Shush PTK. I'm not sure if that's what its actual name is, but we'll call it anyway. E-75 fires another 128mm round, but again it fails to go through. And our team are now flooding into the enemy rear area, so he might want to cross the river now, because I don't think he's going to get much chance to get more hit points. There's the Viz. Gets around into him, a low roll. Yeah, he needs to get across the river now, because our teammates are coming up behind the enemy, and if he doesn't get in there quick, he's not going to get any more hit points. There's an LT-432 up near our cap area. And he blocked the shot, or blocked the shot from the LT. And now we've got the E-75. The other E-75 has been killed by our TVP teammate. E-75 slams one into our tracks. Okay, fires one. Oh, no, he blocked that. But he won't block all the others. And in fact now, Jamie's loading the gold. Yep, easily fired the heat rounds straight through the front of the turret. And in fact, the Viz-55 comes around the corner and they both bounce rounds. You just can't get them through. Go for the turret. That's it. Nice. That pens. He's now one shot. Next round's going to kill the E-75. He wastes his shot. And Jamie finishes him off. And the Viz-55's running away as fast as he can, because he doesn't want to take another round. There's the A phase 1. He's in that ruined building and he's blocked the 120mm round that he fired. The Viz-55 just died. There's one round in. It's a low roll, but he's going to keep the AE phase 1 pinned. And the Skoda takes the kill. There's only 3 enemies left. The 122 TM, a Batchat 25 ton, and a Centurion 7-1. The Batchat's up on top of the hill. And he's just been killed, which means that now we're going for the 122 TM up in front of us. The Centurion must be fairly close by, because they've searched everywhere in the south. And there he is. Oh, tried an auto aim, it didn't work. There's the Centurion, and he's just fired an HE round at us, which is kind of sweet really, because he can't pen the IS-4. And that round goes right over the top, and now it's basically the seagulls from Finding Nemo. Everyone's shouting, mine, mine, mine. And there's a gap coming up. He can shoot him. Wait for it, wait for it. There we go. Nice. And he gets the kill and wins the game. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was another ace tanker game for Jamie2006 in the IS-4. He managed to get a shell proof out of that one for blocking more damage than hit points to his own vehicle, a spotter badge for spotting at least 1,000 hit points of damage on the enemy, as well as a master gunner for getting 5 armor penetrating shots in a row, a duelist for taking down 2 tanks who damaged him, a fire effect for doing more damage than hit points for his own vehicle, and a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he managed to get 8 in this one. He also picked up another steel wall, which just goes to show the armour on the IS-4 is very, very strong indeed, incredibly strong. And yeah, it's pretty amazing really if you think about it. As well as a high caliber for dealing the most damage in that game, as well as a Confederate for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team. And his win rate from that one was 9,500. So let's have a look at the team score. Yep, he did do the most damage in that game. 7,517. The next highest scorer was in fact the Batchat 25 Ton, who got 4,274 hit points, and the third highest damage went to the TVP 250-51 on Jamie's team, who managed 3,688. So you can see that this team was dominated by Jamie's performance in the IS-4. When it came to kills though, it was the TVP who did the best. He got 4 kills in that one. And Jamie only got 2, but he did do a lot of damage in return. 2 kills went to the Striv 103B, and 2 kills went to the IS-3 and nobody on the enemy team managed to get more than 1 kill. When it came to base XP, it's Jamie. Yep, 1,303 went to him, 1,066 went to the TVP, and 988 went to the Skoda T56. It's a pretty good score. At least he got the high caliber this time around, because it was 20% of the enemy hit pool. On the previous occasion, he did have the highest damage, just short of getting a high caliber for not getting 20%. Anyway, let's have a look at detail. He fired 21 rounds in this game, 19 direct hits and 17 penetrations. That's because he wasn't firing any blind shots at any other targets, so he got a much higher percentage on his direct hits. And of course only 2 shots didn't actually pen. 7,517 hit points of damage, of which 296 was at more than 300 meters. I think that was the shot on the Centurion at the end. 15 hits received from the enemy, only 1 of which actually penetrated, and I believe that was the IS-7 who did plant one in, and yes, unfortunately it did go through. He also had 12 non-penetrations. The enemy was trying to get him, and they were even firing premium rounds at him, but it still didn't work. 2 hits by way of splash damage. Those are the guys who resorted to HE at the end, which included the Centurion, I believe. 4,400 hit points damage blocked by armor. 4 enemy vehicles spotted, 9 enemy vehicles damaged, 2 killed, and 1,044 hit points of spotting assist. He earned 107,675 credits from the game, and after repairs, ammunition, resupply, and consumables, he came out with a profit this time of 14,736 credits. 25 bonds for the achievement and 7 bonds for the battle, 32 in total, 1,954 experience points altogether, and times 2 for the first victory of the day, 3,909 taken away. So yes, an IS-4 cleanup. So he is actually doing rather well in the IS-4, and it probably won't be long before he starts getting his marks and clearing the entire battlefield with them. Yeah, it's a very strong tank, but it does have weak spots, and it's just a matter of knowing where those weak spots are if you're in an opposite tank. And I think you will find, Jamie, that a lot of people will fire premium ammo at you because otherwise they just can't get through your armor. It's the problem with having a strong tank is that everybody feels that they have to take you down, and that's why they load the gold, because it's the best way to do it. So I hope you enjoyed both of those replays. Congratulations to Jamie for getting his first ace tanker in the IS-4 and then following it up with another really good game in the IS-4. They were played days apart, so I'm not saying he did this immediately, and it is going to take him a little while to get used to the IS-4, but I think he's got the habit. It won't be long till we see more replays with better results. If you enjoyed that replay, please give it a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And of course, please do remember that we're giving all the profits from this channel away to the Red Cross Ukraine appeal to help the refugees coming out of the war. So the more of our videos you watch, the more money you're sending to help the refugees. So please watch as many of our replays as you can, even if you have to put up with my terrible rattling on in these videos. But I do appreciate it, and thank you very much indeed for watching this video.